So welcome to this edition of Grammar with Mrs. Martin. This is week 5, Wednesday. And today we're going to rewrite the sentence. And when we rewrite a sentence, we're looking for correct punctuation, correct capitalization, and correct grammar. So here's our sentence. Our school's new art wing, which will open on September 25th, has 2 pottery studios. So how do I fix this sentence? Well, let's see. Our school's new art wing, which will open on September 25th, has 2 pottery studios. Well, first I am looking for spelling errors. And I see one here. September is spelled correctly, but it needs a capital. Let's give that a capital. 25th has 2. 2 is correct because that would be a number. Pottery studios. Well, that's wrong because I-E-O-S is not how you spell studios. I need to take that E out of there. Our school's new art wing, which will open on September 25th, has 2 pottery studios. Okay, spelling is done. Punctuation. Well, I know I need a period at the end of that. Not there, but there. There's something else I need as well. I need an apostrophe S for schools because the school possesses the new art wing, so it's possessive. Our school's new art wing, which will open on September 25th, has 2 pottery studios. Well, there are a few phrases in there that take a natural pause. Our school's new art wing, which will open on September 25th, it has 2 pottery studios. Which will open on September 25th is kind of not part of the sentence. It's like an underlying clause. So it could stand on its own. Our school's new art wing has 2 pottery studios, but they want people to understand it will open on September 25th. So they put that in the middle and separate it by commas. I think that this one is now done. Let's move on to your task. Okay, here's your task. When the magician pulled a rabbit out of his hat, the audience cheered more excited than ever. And I need to fix this sentence. So first of all, I need to find the words that are spelled wrong. Go ahead and look at that to see if you can find the words that are spelled wrong. Well, right here I see magician. That's not magician. That's some strange word. Magic is spelled M-A-G-I-C. So it has to be M-A-G-I-C-I-A-N. Magician. The C-I-A-N makes the sound shun. Pulled a rabbit out of his hat. The audience cheered more excited than ever. This doesn't look right either. Audience has a C, a soft C in it. Makes an S sound, but it's still a C. Okay, now my spelling is done. When the magician pulled a rabbit out of his hat, the audience cheered more excited than ever. Now I need to work on my punctuation. And I will tell you, in this sentence, you should have an ending punctuation, and there should be a comma somewhere in this sentence. Give you a few minutes to figure that part out. You should be writing the entire sentence correctly on your paper. Okay, let's look at punctuation. Now I know at the end of every sentence I need a period. That's easy to figure out. So I'm going to put a period here, and it actually makes my sentence jump down to the next line, which is fine. So when the magician pulled the rabbit out of his hat, whoops, I accidentally put a period there, the audience cheered more excited than ever. Well, This is a dependent clause. Notice when, subordinate conjunction or transition word. And that's going to cause me to put a comma after that clause right there. When magician pulled a rabbit out of his hat. Whoops, after hat, not after his. The audience cheered more excited than ever. Okay, there's one other thing I need here. Because we don't say magician. We don't say when magician. We say when the magician, which is a grammar issue. Actually have the magician pull a rabbit out of his hat. The audience cheered more excited than ever. Now, excited needs to be changed. It should be excitedly, making that an adverb, telling us how the audience cheered. They cheered excitedly. And now this is finished. When the magician pulled the rabbit out of his hat, the audience cheered more excitedly than ever. I'll give you another couple of seconds to fix it all and put it in your bell work. So now let's learn about something that you may not have learned about before, transitive and intransitive verbs. So what is the difference between the two verbs in these sentences? The batter hit the ball, the bird sang. Now at first thought you may say the definition, but forget the meaning. Instead, concentrate on the grammar. How do the verbs differ grammatically? Batter hit, bird sang, hit the ball. The bird sang nothing. So the first sentence has two words that follow hit, and the second sentence has no words that follow sang. So what are transitive verbs? Well, transitive verbs are action verbs. They have an object to receive them. Here are some more examples. I baked some cookies. I rode the bicycle. I moved the chair. I stitched a quilt. And all of these verbs in these sentences are transitive because the object, like cookies, is receiving an action, baked. Bicycle is receiving rode. Chair is receiving moved. Quilt is receiving stitched. What about intransitive verbs? Well, they do not have an object receiving the action. There are no words after the verb sang. So here's some examples of intransitive verbs. I laughed. I cried, the book fell, the horse galloped, the sun set. In all of the above cases, the subject is performing the action of bus schedule. So we were all late. Is the verb receiving an action? You should be writing transitive or intransitive on your paper. And this verb is transitive. That means that an object receives the action. Let's move on. Let's talk about prefixes. So prefixes are parts of words that come before the root word. Prefixes have meaning and sometimes change the meaning of the original word. Example, mono means one. Tri means three. Ante means not. Pre means before. Now write number 3 on your bell work. What is the meaning of the prefix? What does the prefix bio mean? Think of biology. What is that? Ology is the study of things. So what does bio mean? The study of what? And that is the study of life. Let's talk about predicate nouns. Predicate nouns are single nouns or a noun phrase that renames the subject of a sentence and follows a form of the verb to be, or another linking verb. Forms of the verb to be are is, was, am, are, be, being, been, has been, may be, and were. Let's look at this in action. Okay, Marty likes lots of bands. Generation Lost is his favorite band. Well, first of all, where is my form of to be? Right here, is. Is a form of to be. So I'm going to highlight is. Now, I need to figure out a phrase that renames the subject. Well, the subject is band. That's what we're talking about. Band. Okay? What about the band? That's what I want to know. Well, I know it's his favorite band. And so I know that the predicate noun in this is band, and it's his favorite. Let's do the same here. Even though Hope likes every kind of ice cream, chocolate is her favorite flavor. So I want to find the predicate noun and the word in the subject that it renames. So we're talking about what? Flavor. And what is the flavor? It's her favorite flavor. So you should be writing that down in your notebook. Okay, last one. Let's rewrite the sentence. Remember, we're looking for correct punctuation, correct capitalization, and correct grammar. Okay, last one. You should be writing this on your Bell worksheet. Before we go on our diving vacation, we're gonna take scuba lessons from Ms. Garcia. So, first of all, let's look at punctuation. What's wrong with the punctuation? Well, first and foremost, Ms. should have a period after it. And the entire sentence should have a period after it because it's a sentence. And it just formatted Garcia for me because it's a Word document. So it capitalized Garcia. And now it's giving me an error over here because Ms. needs to be capitalized as well. So I right-click on it and I fix that. Okay. Before we go on our diving vacation, we're going to take scuba lessons from Ms. Garcia. Well, one more piece of punctuation still needs to be put in, and that is a comma. Go ahead and see if you can find out where the comma goes. Okay, the comma should go before we go on our diving vacation here. We're going to take scuba lessons from Ms. Garcia. Again, a dependent clause starting with a preposition or a subordinate conjunction. And we're going to take scuba lessons from Ms. Garcia is an independent clause that can make this dependent clause make sense. Okay, let's look at capitalization. Our nice Word document already capitalized things for us. Of course, the word right here before is the first word of the sentence, and it's always capitalized. Ms. is always capitalized, and last names are always capitalized, and nothing else needs to be capitalized. So let's move on to grammar and spelling. Diving does not have two V's. Take that out. Before we go on our diving vacation, we're gonna take scuba lessons from Ms. Garcia. Have you noticed I've been saying gonna? Because gonna is not a word. Gonna, shoulda, woulda are not words. Do not put them in your writing. We need to change gonna to going to. Before we go on our diving vacation, we're going to take scuba. And one last thing, I need to put an apostrophe. We're, it's a contraction. We are, now I'm finished. Lessons from Ms. Garcia. And some of my sources, especially for the verbs, came from K-12